Welcome back to Beyond the Battlefield. Today, we begin one of the most practical and, honestly, life-changing sections of the Gita. Arjuna has just asked Krishna something many of us silently ask. How does a person of steady wisdom live? How do they actually behave? Krishna's answer starts right here, with verse 55, and goes on for many verses. But in this episode, we'll focus on the first four, 55 to 58, and each is a small masterclass in leadership, personal growth, and inner steadiness.
Yes, Jessica. And notice, Krishna doesn't begin with what a wise person says or does. He begins with how they are inside, because inner stability shapes outer action. Verse 55 talks about desirelessness and self-contentment. When a person gives up all mental desires, O Partha, and is satisfied in the self, by the self, then he is said to be of steady wisdom. Two big ideas here. 1. Desires fall away, not because they're suppressed, but because they're no longer needed. Second, satisfied in the self, by the self.
Anchor. When Krishna says a wise person abandons all desires, it sounds impossible. Isn't desire part of being human?
It is, but Krishna isn't talking about suppressing desire. He's talking about something much more effortless. Desire just dropping away.
Dropping away? Like, how?
Think about a child who loves toy cars, then one day discovers real cars. The toy cars lose all attraction. No discipline needed. Similarly, when someone finds a deeper joy inside, the pull of external desires just fades.
So it's not about saying no to what you want. It's about outgrowing it?
Exactly. Osho says suppression is like covering a fire with ash. It's still burning underneath. Fulfillment is when the fire goes out naturally, because you've discovered a richer warmth within.
And I guess for leaders, that's huge. If you're full inside, you're not making decisions just to please your ego.
Right, you're free to make choices for the long-term good, not because you're chasing applause or afraid of losing approval. That's the Sthita-Prajna Krishna is talking about. Anchored, steady, and free. Think of a teenager obsessed with fizzy drinks until they start playing sports and drinking fresh juices. The old craving fades without effort. A CEO leading a 5-year innovation strategy won't drop it to chase a quick PR win. Their decisions aren't driven by hunger for applause, but by clarity of vision. Now we move to verse 56, which is about emotional equanimity. One whose mind is undisturbed in sorrow, free from longing in joy, and free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. This is Krishna's emotional test. Undisturbed in sorrow, life will bring setbacks. A wise person feels them but doesn't collapse. No clinging in joy. Success is enjoyed but not clung to as the only source of happiness.
Anchor. Krishna says a wise person isn't disturbed by sorrow and doesn't cling to joy. But isn't that a bit unrealistic?
It sounds that way at first. But he's not saying you don't feel joy or sorrow. He's saying you feel them, but you don't get lost in them.
So it's not about becoming a stone.
Exactly. Osho calls it inner balance. Think of the ocean. Rivers can pour into it, storms can pass over it, but its depth stays the same.
And the bit about being free from attachment, fear, and anger?
They're all connected. Attachment makes you fear losing something. That fear can turn into anger when you feel threatened. When attachment loosens, fear and anger lose their fuel.
So for a leader, this would mean what?
It means you don't let failure paralyze you or success make you arrogant. In a crisis, you are the calmest person in the room. And when things go well, you don't get carried away. You keep leading steadily. Think of your phone. If you backed up all your photos to the cloud, you're less fearful of losing it. Attachment makes fear stronger. Fear can turn into anger if something threatens what we hold tightly. In a manufacturing crisis, a reactive leader might blame teams or overpromise to clients. A steady leader calmly diagnoses the problem, sets realistic timelines, and communicates openly, building confidence instead of panic. Now, verse 57. Everywhere yet unattached. Who is everywhere without attachment, and upon meeting good or evil, neither rejoices nor hates. Such a person's wisdom is steady. This is where Krishna brings the marketplace test. It's easy to be peaceful in the mountains. No noise, no temptations. But the Sthita-Prajna lives in the middle of the world, in meetings, markets, family life, and yet stays inwardly free.
Anchor. Krishna says the wise person is everywhere but without attachment. How's that even possible?
It's tricky, right? But Krishna's point is, it's easy to look detached if you hide in the mountains. No noise, no people, no temptation.
So the real test is being in the middle of life and still free?
Exactly. You can be in the office, at home, in the market, but not glued to any of it. Osho gives the rental car example. When it's yours, a scratch feels personal. When it's rented, you enjoy it fully but without anxiety.
So it's about caring without clinging?
Yes, for a leader, that means making decisions without being trapped by personal bias or fear of losing something. You act for the bigger mission, not for your ego. Leaders often cling to pet projects or old strategies just because they've invested time or ego in them. Lets you pivot when the market shifts without taking change as a personal loss. Verse 58, the tortoise metaphor. When, like a tortoise withdrawing its limbs, one withdraws the senses from sense objects, then his wisdom is steady. The tortoise has 6 parts, 4 limbs, a head, and a tail. We have 6 too, the 5 senses and the mind. When danger comes, the tortoise pulls in completely. For us, the shell is the intellect, our ability to pause, step back, and shield ourselves from harmful distractions. It's not enough to walk away physically. The mind must also stop chasing. Otherwise, you can be far from the kitchen but still craving what's cooking. This is self-discipline in action. A leader must know when to pull back attention from shiny but irrelevant opportunities to protect the team's focus and energy. In a tech startup, dozens of cool side ideas may come up. A wise founder knows when to say, not now, keeping the team focused on the main mission.
So, across these 4 verses, Krishna is giving us 1. Desirelessness, not through force, but by outgrowing the craving. 2. Emotional steadiness, balanced in both joy and sorrow. 3. Detachment in engagement, fully present, but not glued. 4th, sense and mind discipline, withdrawing from distractions, like a tortoise into its shell.
And these aren't just spiritual ideals, they're practical skills for anyone who wants to lead in business, in community, in family, without losing themselves in the process.
Next time, we'll see how this inner steadiness shows up in outward action. But for now, maybe try one thing. When you feel pulled by something, a gadget, a compliment, a fear, pause and ask, am I in control, or is this pulling my strings? This is Beyond the Battlefield. See you next time.